Good evening. Welcome back to History of the Promise Bible Handbook, the study, presented by He Promised Publications. Today, we are moving into chapter 11. Chapter 11. Yeah, sometimes you want to say, here we go. I always tell you guys that sometimes you want to say something. Today was not, today was a introspective day. Not so much it's introspective as we all have our down days. And today was one of my down days, and I almost didn't do this. I just almost didn't do it. And, for me, I don't know what this is for you, but for me, it's a daily Bible study, even for me. And a chance for me to get a lot more understanding and move closer. And so I can't stop. I could stop, but it's like I'll have to start from scratch again. You guys will get that one day. Well, some of you already know it. You're starting from scratch because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. So that is what I'm here today, and I'm going to get this done. If my phone goes flying down the hill, it goes flying down the hill. I didn't feel like going down there today. It's a little late, but like I said, it takes me a second to get over a snake thing, and I saw one yesterday, so I'm good today. I'm just gonna sit up here. Alrighty. It's kind of funny because once you see a snake, everything looks like a snake. Anyway, so Genesis chapter 11 talks about the Tower of Babel, and Yahweh makes different languages. All right. So let's get to it. The whole earth was of one language and of one speech. As they traveled from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they lived there. They said to one another, "Come, let's make bricks and burn them thoroughly." They had brick for stone, and they used tar for mortar. They said, "Come, let's build ourselves a city and a tower whose top reaches to the sky. And let's make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad on the surface of the whole earth." Now, one of the things they were supposed to do is scatter abroad, on the surface of the whole earth. They decided they didn't want to do that. So the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men had built. Adonai said, "Behold, they are one people, and they all have one language. And this is what they begin to do. Now nothing will be withheld from them which they intend to do." So basically saying, we got to scramble this up a bit. Because like I said, we got sin back in the earth now. And with them being able to communicate and they'll become a stronghold, what could they not do, And if they're doing it in the right, that's one thing. But, we got sin back, so a lot of stuff ain't going to be in the right. So he says, "Come, let us go down and there confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech." So Adonai scattered them abroad from there on the surface of all the earth. They stopped building the city. Therefore its name was called Babel, because it is there that Adonai confused the language of all the earth. From there, Adonai, the Lord, scattered them abroad on the surface of all the earth. This is the history of the genealogy of Shem. Shem was 100 years old when he became the father of Arpachshad, 2 years after the flood. So just 2 years after the flood, Shem became a father. Shem lived 500 years after he became the father of Arpachshad and became the father of more sons and daughters. Arpachshad lived 35 years, they're 35 now, and became the father of Shelah. Arpachshad lived 403 years after he became the father of Shelah and became the father of more sons and daughters. Shelah lived 30 years and became the father of Eber. Shelah lived 403 years after he became the father of Eber and became the father of more sons and daughters. Eber lived 34 years and became the father of Peleg. Eber lived 430 years after he became the father of Peleg and became the father of more sons and daughters. Again, They're just talking about the first sons. So the first sons born are the important ones in the way things are set up. Peleg lived 30 years and became the father of Ru. Peleg lived 209 years after he became the father of Ru and became the father of more sons and daughters. Now, real quick, we talked about the Lord saying 120 years is going to be the max. You're going to learn something. When God says something, it doesn't mean it's going to happen right then. And I think that's where a lot of people get caught up. He is a God of order. But we're looking at Ru. Well, Peleg was where we're at. He lived 209 years after. So he lived a total of 239 years. But back in the day, people were living to 969, 900 this, 8. So slowly but surely, the plan is taking effect. And we're seeing that people are not living as long as they had been, and consequently are having children a lot earlier than they had. Shem had his first son at 100. All of a sudden, everybody else is having their sons in their 30s. Okay? Let's continue on. So Peleg lived 209 years after he became the father of Ru and became the father of more sons and daughters. Ru lived 32 years and became the father of Serug. Ru lived 207 years after he became the father of Serug and became the father of more sons and daughters. Serug lived 30 years and became the father of Nahor. Serug lived 200 years. We keep dwindling down here. Serug lived 200 years after he became the father of Nahor and became the father of more sons and daughters. Nahor lived 29 years and became the father of Terah. Nahor lived 119 years after he became the father of Terah and became the father of more sons and daughters. Terah lived 70 years, a little bit older on this one, and became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Now this is the history of the genealogy of Terah. Evidently Terah is important because we done flip from one to another. Terah became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Haran became the father of Lot. Haran died in the land of his birth, in Ur-Kasdim, while his father Terah was still alive. Abram and Nahor married wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, the daughter of Haran, who was also the father of Iscah. Now, real quick, if you're starting from scratch, there will be some, people frown on it nowadays, and for good reason. There's no reason for it to happen. But when you're starting from scratch, there's good chances that you're going to marry within your family line to continue on. So it says, and later on, it comes to the story, I believe that, and you'll hear it later on in the story, but Sarai is also Abram's half-sister. Nahor, Abram's brother, married, trying to get there, his niece, okay? So Terah took Abram, this is dad now, took Abram his son, Lot, the son of Haran, his grandson, and Sarai, his daughter-in-law, his son, Abram's wife. They went from Ur-Kasdim to go into the land of Canaan. They came to Haran and lived there. Now Haran, now we're talking about a place. The days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. So he did not die in the land where he was born and had his children. He died in another land, okay? So we're going to get straight into the questions and comments here. How many languages were there when the earth began? How many languages were there when the earth began? Pause if you need to, okay? Did Noah's descendants, Noah, okay, for those of you who are new to this, and didn't start at the beginning, did Noah's descendants do what they were told to fill the earth? Did they scatter themselves and fill the earth like they were told to do? Question number 3. Did Yahweh come down alone? Now this is important. These are words we'll skip over. So go back and look through this chapter that we're working on, chapter 11, and find where it said, and I say grab your Bible, Google, or this handbook if you have it, okay? Did Yahweh come down alone? Okay? And it's important for you to keep that in your mind when he doesn't come down alone, because you should be thinking, if he didn't come down alone, who was here with him? Alrighty? Next question. What did Yahweh and the person, well, that answers the last question, don't it? What did Yahweh and the person he came down with do? What did they do when they came down? All right. Next question. How long does Shem live? How long does Shem live? One of the sons of Noah. Like I said, you guys, if you got to pause me. I ain't going nowhere. All right, next question. Abram, and it would be Abram in other Bibles, but is a descendant of Shem. Who was Abram's father? Abram was a descendant of Shem, but who was Abram's father? So this question is here, and like I said, I might get caught up like I did last time. I'm just going to read it like it is and not try to, because I don't remember right now the answer to this question. So I'm just going to read it to you, okay? What do we find out about Sarai? Not anything I might have told y'all, but in the word, what do we find out about Sarai outside of the fact that she is Abram's wife? What do we find out about Sarai outside of the fact that she is Abram's wife? Next question. Who leaves Ur-Kasdim and where are they headed? Who leaves Ur-Kasdim and where are they headed? Last long question, or a long statement before you get to the question. Okay, it's last one for chapter 11. Take a look at the ages of the men when they die at this time. See, I keep doing that. Remember that since the flood, men are now allowed to eat meat. Since the flood, meat has been added to the menu. Okay? Are they living as long as the men before them? Are the men in this time, in chapter 11, living as long as the men before them? All right, you guys. Well, this is the end. And I'm really kind of tripped out. As soon as I'm done recording, I'm going to have to flip back myself. It's like, okay, what else do we find out about Sarai? I know what I said, but I don't know what I read. So I'm actually going to go back and dig into this chapter 11, and see what I missed today. But blessings on you, you guys. My hope for you, as always, my prayer for you, if you're listening, is that even if it's a blip, to push you forward, to start to understand the truth of the history of this world and the promise given to us, then I've done my job. I've done my job. If I say something that sends you the other way, I can guarantee you that you'll never hear it, because the Lord will stop the video and make me start over again and chastise me. He's done it a few times already. You guys have a good evening, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow. God bless.